Hey, this is Dante, and you're listening to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
This is Steve Bowtie Bryant here. Back in the 90s, I was a pro wrestling photographer for the South, and I released what might have been one of the original sets of indie trading cards. I ran across some of these original sets. They were up in Randall Fanning's attic all this time. PG-13 rookie card, Ricky Morton, George Weingeroff as the Sheik, Chris Champion, Reno Riggins, Billy Montana, Gary Valiant, the Scorpion, the Medic, Rick Reynolds, Jeff Daniels, Mephisto and Dante, Ben Jordan, Steve Neely, Marcus Woodrow, Quinton Quarisma, Little Farmer John. If you'd like an opportunity to get these cards, contact me now. You can get them for only $49.99. Contact me at Steve Bowtie Bryant at iCloud.com. Get your set now while supplies last.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
For those who don't know now, you know, baby. This is Hot Rod Biggs, Jared, Jimmy Street. We're going to take them to the limit one more time, baby, right here on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one more time to the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling podcast. I'm here as always with my brother from the same father and mother, the Plastic Sheik, Jared Street. What is up, Sheik? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, and, it's kind of become a tradition, but I brought some charisma with me.
You did? Awesome.
Absolutely.
Very cool. That must be our co-host with the Mo-host and territory wrestling guru, Quinton Quarisma. Quinton, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How y'all guys doing?
Man, doing it.
Can't wait for spring, man. Can't wait for spring.
Jump in that pool.
It felt like that today. It was spring weather today.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Here in Kentucky it was. I don't know where in y'all's parts of the country, but down here it was decent.
That's
pretty close. It was pretty close.
Yeah.
Go in the right direction.
in the 60s area, right? I think is for us. So yeah. Beautiful day. Well, today, guys, we've got an excellent show. Quinton, I know you've been very excited for this, but honestly, we're always excited for this whenever we have the legendary Tommy Heggie, a.k.a. Dante, on the show. This is his third time, y'all, and that puts him in rare air. That's like Ben Jordan area level of, guest appearances. We've got a lot of twos, Rick Reynolds, Steve Morton, Shane Morton, so many guys, Arvil. I mean, we've got so many people that have done a two, but not a three. Ben Jordan so far and Tommy Heggie now. So very cool. Thank them all. Honestly, we couldn't do this whole show without these guys and these legends that have shared their stories with us. It's just greatly appreciated. So, but anyway, congratulations on being a three-timer, Tommy Heggie. So I hope that means as much to you as it does to us. So, yeah. So to kind of keep going here, we talked about another three-peater is Ben Jordan. Ben Jordan, we love him to death on this show. Of course, all of us love him. And got some good news. His official Facebook page, Ben Jordan's Cancer Journey, post the other day that said, just back from Ben's doctor appointment, and the news is ridiculously awesome. His progress is right on track and a total testament to his superhero strength. We're beyond grateful for the love and support of our family and friends and the pretty incredible power of their prayers. And yeah, so Ben just said that, everything was shrinking and, everything's going the way it should go. So thankfully that's awesome and good news. And
great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, we got to, just keep praying for all the ones that still need it. Obviously, Mark Donovan, Ben Dixon, man, it just seems like there's somebody new popping up every day. And we just continue praying for all of them. And one more thing before we get to This Week in Wrestling History. Lee Condor's show did well. I think everybody enjoyed it. For the listeners, almost heat-free, right, guys? It got through almost heat-free, but...
Hey, that's close enough, right?
Yeah, I gotta love the wrestling business, man. But anyway, I enjoyed the Lee episode. I think we've had some great responses to it, so we greatly appreciate y'all listening to that. But, as far as today's show, I'm super stoked to get to Tommy Heggie. But before we get there, we've got to get to what has become one of the most popular segments in podcast history, at least in my opinion, and that is, of course, Quinton Quarisma's This Week in Wrestling History.
This Week in Wrestling History with Quinton Quarisma.
All right, guys, today we're going to go to March 19th, 1974. We're going to Montgomery, Alabama, to Tri-States Wrestling. It's owned by Bill Golden, which is Jimmy Golden's dad. And I'm pretty sure this was the last year they were in business before he shut down and Gulas took over. I'm pretty sure 74 was. Okay. So I figured I'd do a little Bill Golden's Tri-State Wrestling today. So we got the first match. We got Jim Williams against Jimmy Jones.
Oh, okay.
Did we have
Jim and Jim?
Yeah.
Did we have that last week?
I think it sounds.
I think we did.
Yeah.
All right. These guys didn't know nothing about them. Had to look them up. Of course, Jim Williams worked for Gulas. I think everybody and their brother did.
Yeah.
He worked in Gulf Coast, worked for this Tri-State promotion. He had a little 7-year career. That's about it. And then the Jimmy Jones guy had a little further career. He worked 10 years. Worked for Gulas.
I thought you were going to say he started a cult there for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why he had a 7-year career. He went and bought a bunch of Flavor Aid.
Oh, gosh.
But anyway, yeah. Talking about a whack job. Anyway, so he worked for the Tri-States. This Tri-State, there's actually 2 Tri-State promotions, but they worked for this Tri-State. He worked for the Gulf Coast promotion, and he was one of the 9 million and 36-7 assassins. So he was an assassin somewhere for somebody. Also, these are just the matches I couldn't find any results. These are just the match listings. All right, so we're gonna go to the second match. It's Dick Dunn versus Rick Ronaldo. Dick Dunn was he was a mainstay in the South. 25 years. Mostly people remember him from the Gulf Coast.
Okay.
But in 69, him and Don Carson and Dick Dunn. But Dick Dunn was under a mask as the Red Shadow, and they had like a year run in 68 with Gulas. They were on top tag. They were just top tag team, for a full year.
Yeah.
Don Carson, the Red Shadow.
Nice.
So he was, like I said, he was South guy, and Southern Territories, and like I said, was just a mainstay down, especially on the Gulf Coast down there.
Very cool. Very cool.
And the Rick Ronaldo, you know who he was? 20-year vet. Worked a lot of the West Coast, NWA, LA, Vancouver, Portland. Worked most of the West Coast, what I could see. So,
okay.
And then we go to the third match. We got the Great Gamma versus Jerry Barber. I had to look up Great Gamma. I've heard the name before, but I had to look it up, and it's Jack Evans, which we had him a few times back.
Yeah,
we had Jack Evans.
I remember that.
He was a Hollywood blonde with Larry Sharp. So we had him before. And Jerry Barber, of course, he was the mainstay of mainstays for Gulas in the 70s. And my favorite Nick Gulas wrestler was Jerry Barber.
Nice. Okay, nice.
So then we go to the fourth match. It's a Russian chain match for the NWA Tri-States heavyweight title, the Alabama version. So we got Jack Donovan versus Jimmy Golden.
Oh, nice.
Okay, and Jimmy Golden, I ain't got to say nothing about it. Everybody knows who Jimmy Golden is, so
love
ain't got to say
that.
Yeah. The other guy was Jack Donovan. He worked 25 years plus, worked a lot for Gulas, worked for Leo McGurk, worked the Gulf Coast, and I'm starting to remember, I think he was the one that got into a fight with, was it Tojo and who was it? Somebody else, and he got basically ran out of Knoxville, I think, or something. I can't remember what it was, but I remember they beat him up. He left and went south. I can't remember the whole story. I have to look it up. But okay, so that was the tri-state heavyweight title match, the Alabama version.
Okay.
So then we go to the fifth match. It's the main event. This is a 3 out of 5 falls. That's a first for me. Have you ever seen that?
Wow.
No, I was trying to think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a first 3 out of 5 falls. So there's no results because I don't know how many falls it went. And this is for the NWA Tri-State Tag Team titles, the Alabama version. We have Frank Hester and Greg Peterson versus Woodrow Bass and Steve Lawler. And they were the champions. Bass and Lawler were the champions.
Okay.
Frank Hester, of course, he was one of the dominoes that died in the car wreck with the other domino, Pepe Lopez and Sam Bass.
Right.
He was in that car wreck.
Gotcha.
And Greg Peterson, he was a 20-year vet, worked for Gulas, but was one of those Gulf Coast mainstays down there.
Uh-huh.
And then Woodrow Bass. I did not know who this. I thought it was. I figured, okay, it's either Dutch Mantell, Don Bass, or Ron Bass. I figured it was one of those.
Okay.
Woodrow Bass was Jim White, Lawler's old partner.
Yeah.
And Steve Lawler, I've heard the name through the years. He wrestled at Gulas as Steve Kyle, and he actually teamed up with Lawler, early 70-ish. I think it was the year before, 73 maybe, in the tri-state wrestling. Him and Steve Lawler and Jerry Lawler teamed up, and then on this one they have Jim White. Did y'all ever hear about Jim White? Basically got blackballed from wrestling. Did y'all hear about that?
I haven't.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it seems like I haven't. I can't remember.
He married a black wrestler, Lily Thomas.
Oh.
And in the South in the 70s, that was still taboo.
Yeah.
Right.
And basically it got him, basically blackballed from what I read.
So did they have Steve Lawler like supposedly like a cousin to Jerry, or
I think he was like,
okay.
From what I've read, he was like a cousin thing, like a cousin type deal. From a little bit I've read, it's hard to find a lot on.
Oh yeah, of course.
So but I do remember him. I actually have seen him, pictures of him as Steve Kyle for Gulas. So.
Okay.
All right. So that was that show. So we're gonna go to the next one. And this is going to be March 23rd, 1981. We're going to Tulsa, Oklahoma at the Expo Square Pavilion. Promoters Leor McGurk. And guess what the name of his promotion was? Tri-State.
Tri-State Wrestling.
We got another Tri-State. So, yeah. But this was after the split up with him and Watts.
Okay.
When him and Watts did and he split, he just took the Oklahoma part, and I think he had a little bit of Missouri, maybe a little bit of Arkansas, but he pretty much took the Oklahoma side. So, all right, we got the first match is Billy Starr defeated Tommy Wright, and the name Billy Starr has been brought up on this podcast before.
Okay.
Jimmy, in the Jimmy Powell episode, remember when he said that he was flying to Florida, and the guy said, "Are you a wrestler?" Remember, he said,
Yep.
So I would say Star Child Billy Starr, whatever it was.
Right, so I remember that.
Yep, it's the same guy.
Huh.
Yep, that was him. Yeah, so his name's been on the podcast before. So
okay.
And then Tommy Wright, and this is what I found interesting. And I looked; it was both on Cage Match and Wrestling Data that this guy worked as this name. So I'm hoping it's right. This Tommy Wright guy, I remember when he come to Memphis, he had a short run in Memphis around 85-ish. He worked a lot for Watts and a lot for Florida. But I want to say it was end of 81, 82. He worked in Dallas as Richard Blood.
Ooh, wow.
So there's been a Richard Blood shoot name, now 2 work Richard Blood names.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, I was like, there's no way. And like I said, I looked at it, and like I said, it's hard to find stuff. But I went through trying to find video of it, because he actually worked there like 3 or 4 months as Richard Blood, and I tried to find the TVs, and what, a little bit 81, 82, it's kind of that time period where there's not a lot there, and I couldn't find any of the TV tapings he did.
Gotcha.
So I'm gonna go with it that he actually worked as Richard Blood, but who knows?
Yeah.
All right. So we go to the second match. We got Ricky Morton defeated the Blue Demon. And Ricky Morton can't say nothing about that. Everybody knows who he is. If you
Who
don't,
is that?
yeah, if you don't know who Ricky Morton is, I can't help you, man.
Yeah.
And then I said Blue Demon. I was like, oh, this is just going to be somebody under a hood. But I looked into it, and whatever thing I could see, it was a guy named Sonny Myers. And you say he worked everywhere. He worked for over 40 years plus.
Wow.
But what I remember him from was being the main ref in Florida in the late 70s.
Okay.
That's what I remember him from. But yeah, it was Sonny Myers.
Okay.
But he actually was one of those, you look at it and you'd be here all day naming the promotions he worked for, because he worked for over 40 years. I mean, good grief.
Yeah. Yeah. No joke.
So then we'll go to the third match. We got Terry Orndorff beat Ron McFarlane. I've always heard he was legit brother of Paul Orndorff. Have you all heard anything besides that was, that was real? I've always heard it was.
No, I haven't, but I haven't.
Okay. I've looked everywhere, and I can't find anything that says he wasn't.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
But he didn't have a long career at all. He was only in business like 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
And he worked like Texas and Watts, and he might have did some Florida, maybe. I don't know. But,
well, Travis, Paul's son, is around. I think we could probably find that out if we needed to. So
I've always wondered, I've seen his name for years, and it's like, who the rest of it is you don't know who's who,
right. Right.
And exactly. But I've never seen nobody say it wasn't. But I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So like I said, he beat Ron McFarlane. Didn't really know much Ron McFarlane. I had looked it up, and he worked a lot of Central States, and I didn't know this was him. But in I want to say 84ish in Florida, there was a tag team called the Alabama Chain Gang, and he was one of them.
Okay.
Yeah. And the gimmick was good, but by 84, it had aged out.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely a 60s and 70s gimmick.
Yeah.
So, all right, so we go to match 4. We got Chief Frank Hill defeated Jerry Brown. Now, Jerry Brown was the other half of the Alabama Chain Gang in Florida with the Ron McFarlane.
Okay.
And Jerry Brown also was the Hollywood Blonde with Buddy Roberts.
Nice.
Yeah, and Jerry Brown worked everywhere, worked over 15 years, worked everywhere. And there's a story floating around somewhere I heard where he supposedly got heat with Watts and drove by Watts's house and tried to shoot up Watts's house. I don't know if it's true.
Good Lord. Good Lord.
I don't think I'm thinking he lived after the
wow.
So I think it's one of those stories that just over the years it just kept adding to it,
Yeah.
I don't see some Watts letting that get by,
Yeah.
So then the Chief Frank Hill, I didn't know this, was Jules Strombo in the WWF. He was Jay Strombo's brother, work brother that won the WWF tag team titles.
Daggone, man, that's wild.
Yeah, I didn't know that his name was Frank Hill.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go to match 5 here, and I don't think I've seen this before. It's a double Texas bull rope match.
I have never.
Not a double. I've always, and I didn't want to use. I saw it and I was like, man, I want to use that double Texas death. I'm tongue tied. Texas bull rope double match rope. You edit this out. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm in trouble today. Okay. So I was wanting to use this, but then I seen who was in it, and I kept debating on it whether to use it. So here it goes. Oh man, it didn't have a finish on this, so I'm assuming it was either a draw. I guess it had to be a draw or just double DQ, or I don't know. It didn't have any finish on it. It was Bob Sweetan and Tom Jones defeated Bobby Jaggers and Mike George.
Oh.
Bob Sweetan, he's a POS. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
Yeah.
And Tom Jones, man, he 20 years, he worked a lot of those Central States, Watts, all those territories, and Texas, Oklahoma, all those, Kansas, all that. He did a lot of that.
Yeah,
Tom Jones did. Bobby Jaggers, I mean, everybody knows Bobby Jaggers, surely.
Sure, yeah.
If you're like wrestling, nobody. Now, Mike George, none of people might know Mike George. He was a 20-year vet. He was a mainstay in Central States for Watts and McGirt. He stayed in that area a lot. Just in that Watts, McGirt, Central States area. Yeah. He was a mainstay in there. So a lot of people might not know about him. So, all right, that was that show.
All right.
Here's the last one we got coming up. We got March 18th, 1994. We're going to Indianapolis, Indiana for the CWI. I've actually seen some of this on a video. I've actually seen some of this floating around. I think Mike Samples was the booker.
Okay.
And so we got the first match. We have Jerry Faith versus Doug O'Brien. Jerry Faith, him and Troy Hayes were the Phantoms that worked Jarrett's, I think it was 94. I think he worked against Jamie Wolfe, I believe.
Okay.
He worked tons of Kentucky Indies. Y'all know who Doug Briley was?
Doug Briley. The name, not
Doug
off
Basham.
the top. Oh, really? Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Wow.
Yep. All right, so we go to the second match. We have Lady Vendetta defeated Lisa Crockett. Don't know who Lisa Crockett was, but Lady Vendetta was Madman Pondo's ex-wife.
Yeah. He's got all kinds of them ex-people in the business.
You see those floating around, huh?
Yeah, seriously.
So then we go to the third match, which is Madman Pondo defeated Dan Anderson. And Dan Anderson was Danny Shannon, who worked a lot for Dale Mann and did some stuff down here in Tennessee a little bit.
Yeah.
And didn't Shane say he was a Danny Steamboat for Dale?
Yep. He was a Danny Steamboat. Yep. It's all tying together.
Yeah. So then we got the fourth match. We got Sean Casey defeated Gigolo Joe. Okay. I don't have a clue who Gigolo Joe was.
That wouldn't have been a pimped out Joe, Gypsy Joe, would it?
If it was, I would have loved to saw it.
But haven't you seen him wearing that bucket hat before and stuff? I don't know.
I've seen where, yes. I've seen where, yeah. But just the whole get up would just be.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah.
And Sean Casey worked 30 plus years, worked for Ian Rotten, worked, I think, probably every independent in Ohio.
OVW and
worked OVW with Chris Michaels. They were a tag team a lot. OVW.
Yeah.
And
always reminded me of a TV, like Jane Fonda kind of or something. His look reminded me of somebody who would teach aerobics on TV. I don't know why, but we'll just go with that.
He was like a male stripper, wasn't he?
That explains. I don't know that, but that explains that. Yeah, that explains that.
I think he was. Yeah, there you go.
That explains the look.
All right, there we go. We got match number 5. We got Doug Vines and Jeff Sword defeated Flash Flanagan and Doug O'Brien.
Gotcha. Okay.
So Doug O'Brien did double duty that day.
Yeah. That's funny. Oh man. So that was the old school Poffos, Doug Vines and Jeff Sword there. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the old Devils duo.
Yep.
Sure was.
Daggone right, man. That's cool.
All right, then we got the sixth match was Flash Flanagan defeated Mike Samples.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm pretty sure he was the booker. I'm pretty sure Samples was the booker.
Okay.
All right, then we got and this one was really weird. Number 7 was a barbed wire battle royal won by Flash Flanagan.
Man, Flash was busy.
Yeah. Sure was. He works.
Yeah. Now, what's funny is was this a Mike Sample show, or was he just booking this show?
I don't know. I think he might have just been booking it.
Okay, because I know that when Flash was on, I've talked to Flash before in a previous interview on the Wolfie podcast, and he was talking about him catching heat with Danny working a Mike Sample show because Mike Sample started running opposition and he got some heat with Danny. But if Doug Basham was on this card, I doubt that this was that. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, if Doug's working it was a different time period.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be in Indianapolis. I mean, that's what, a good 2 hours from Louisville at least.
Yeah.
So I don't see how that would, but Samples was from Kentucky, so it might have been something close to around Louisville. Maybe Samples was running.
Maybe. Yeah. Sounds like it. Yeah.
Could have got hit from that.
Yeah. Well, cool deal, man. Those are good, brother. That was awesome.
Right, glad everybody liked it.
Yes, sir.
To throw one thing in there, I did a little Wikipedia search. Terry Orndorff is the younger brother to Paul Orndorff.
That's all I've ever seen, and I haven't seen anywhere it says it's a work. It's wrestling, a wrestling brother. But yeah, I've seen it. They said it's actually was the real deal. So
that's cool. That's awesome.
And this has been
This Week in Wrestling History with Quinton Quarisma.
All right, Quinton, one more time. Excellent one. That was a lot of fun. I had some great names. We're starting to see some puzzle pieces come together. People that worked on other shows, now they're working these shows, and hearing some Gulas shows and just Gulas guys. It's awesome, man. So we appreciate it, Quinton. Great job, buddy.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Absolutely. Now, on to, you said Jerry Barber was your favorite Gulas guy. Well, we're about to have my favorite Gulas guy on. We'll be right back.
Let me phrase that. My favorite Gulas guy growing up.
I understand what you're
but
saying.
Now, now that's changed. But growing up, that was my favorite Gulas guy. But now, no. I mean, now. There's no way.
Well, we'll be right back with all of our favorite Gulas guy, Tommy Heggie, a.k.a. Dante, after these messages.
Hey guys, this is Wolfie D from PG-13. Check out my podcast, Live and in Color with Wolfie D, every Monday at noon. We're talking Memphis, we're talking ECW, WCW, WWF, everywhere that I've been. We even have some great guests, some Hall of Famers on the show with us. Every Monday, Live and in Color with Wolfie D.
This is Kroll, and you're listening to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling with Jimmy Street and Jared the Plastic Sheik. Be sure to like, subscribe, and view all of our USWO and Saul Wrestling content at Nashville Wrestling Network, exclusively on YouTube.
Are you a pro wrestling fan? Well, stop by Captain's Corner, where you can get autographed photos, cards, magazines, and figures from all of your favorite wrestling superstars of the past, present, and future. You'll also be able to participate in live signings in the weeks and months to come. Make sure to stop by Captain's Corner on Facebook and give us a holler. Remember, cheers to the working man.
All right, we are back with more from the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling podcast. Here, as always, with the Sheik and Quinton. But today, guys, it could be a celebration day because, for the third time officially, he is back on our show, and it's a very much heavily requested guest. We always love having one of the devils on our podcast. Of course, we had him on with his longtime partner, Arvil Hutto and Mephisto. And of course, we had him on in that live podcast we did at the Columbia reunion. And the one and only Tommy Heggie, a.k.a. Dante. Thank you for coming back on and seeing us, Tommy. Thank you.
Oh, it's good to be with y'all. Good to hear from y'all.
Good.
Hello,
good.
Quinton Quarisma. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, Tommy. How you doing?
I'm good, buddy. I'm looking forward to seeing all y'all on May 17th.
Yeah, Be great. So, Tommy, let me just, I guess, first off, obviously, welcome back, man. Thank you for doing this. I know you had a little dental surgery there. We're glad you're all good and ready to roll. But, the one thing I guess I want to start the question with is kind of like right now. I know there's so many legends from that area, the Lynn Rossies, the Gypsy Joes, all the greats. I mean, the Nicks and the George and everybody. I mean, the Weingeroffs, everybody. But What is it about you that honestly, just how super respected you are amongst everyone. We were talking a little bit about this before we started interviewing, is you were talking about in 30 years, you never really knew a bad one. And that's awesome. And that maybe says a lot about you, but what do you think it is that makes you such a respected individual?
Well, I always tried to help the guys. I was always there for them and giving them advice, and anything I could do for them, I would. And I think that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Because I went out of my way to really help a lot of these guys, learn and get started. Yep.
Yeah. Quinton jumping in there. It's funny. I've honestly, I really fully feel like that if there were a Mount Rushmore, and that's a very popular topic, and you'll see why in a minute. But if there were a Mount Rushmore of the middle, I guess, of Tennessee wrestling, I really feel like Tommy Heggie deserves his place on that list. So,
well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, buddy.
And in the bigger leagues, I think I never caused any problems. Whatever they said do, I did.
Yeah,
I was always on time, and they say go at 30 seconds with this guy. I went out there, did my 30 seconds. I never caused any problem.
Yeah,
I listened to what I was told.
I hope all you young people out there taking notes, that's how you do that right there. If you want to have a 30-year career where you're extremely respected by all of your peers, that right there is the way to do it. So
no trouble with anybody, any of them. No,
that's awesome.
Promoters or anybody,
That's cool, man. I mean, that's just a good way, but that shows that you put in the effort to not be disrespectful, and comes back. So
sure does.
Well, as I brought it up already, and you've answered this before, but we're going to give you another shot at it, maybe with a little altered here, but let the Sheik take it away. Go ahead, Sheik.
All right, Tommy. So, it's a Mount Rushmore question. And I want to change it up a little bit because you've been on here and you've answered this question before. So I want to change it up and kind of, how many years you been in the business, Tommy?
I started in 78, and I think we finished in 2017, I believe it was.
So
could have been 19. It was somewhere in there.
Yeah, that's a few years, isn't it? I mean, that's
yes, it
is. So my thought was with that question, I wanted to ask: Is there like a Mount Rushmore of people that you wish you could have shared the ring with, whether they came after you, before you, or they were there or they were wrestling during the time you did, but you just weren't in the right place to wrestle them? Is there like 4 or 5 guys that you'd like to share the ring with that you never got to?
Oh, Lord, yes. Jackie Fargo's one.
There you go. That's
both Fargo, Jackie and Don Fargo. Lynn Rossi, I never got to share the ring with him, but I highly respect him. And there's so many of them. Bobby Hart, Lorenzo Prini, the Kurt and Carl Von Bronner. I mean, the list just goes on and on.
Yeah.
That's great.
My dad, he worked with the Von Bronners, and he said they was awesome. Just awesome workers.
Oh, man.
Especially the biggest one. The biggest one was, he said he was much of a man. He's like locking up with a tree. He was so solid. Man, when you grabbed hold of him, he said you had something. He was much of a man. That big German Kurt, he was much of a man.
That's awesome. That's all. They always look so cool, Yeah.
The interns was great. My dad loved working with the interns. The interns was great. I loved to share the ring with them. There's so many back in them days I'd love to work with.
Yeah.
And that's what I was looking for. That question is because I know you would have some unique names and you'd have a good answer to it with as many years you were in the business, but you can't work everybody. So I mean, it's a great answer.
Sir, they was just awesome.
Yeah,
my memories of them, they were just awesome. They looked the part, them Germans, man. They walked to the ring, they looked the part.
I know.
Oh, man, that was just awesome. And Ken Ramey, the intern, the same way. They just looked the part.
Yeah. But you kept that on. I mean, you and Cool Breeze and Arvil and everybody, I mean, y'all kept that look going. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You had Rick with you, Damien. I mean, all y'all looked the part. You know what I mean? Like y'all were either pirates, bikers, or wrestlers. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean? Or maybe all three.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, well, I tell you what, Tommy, this show has been one that Quinton has actually been holding his breath for. So, Quinton, you can stop holding your breath now. Tommy is on the podcast, and you are here with him. Go ahead, Quinton. Take your first question, brother.
All right, Tommy, I'm going to start this first question off. When you were younger, did you ever get to travel to the shows with your dad?
Oh, yes, all the time. He took me to a lot of the shows. So he started in 1970, and Johnny Walker trained him. He went to Johnny Walker's school.
Man.
And then right after my dad got in it, Nick wanted him to run some spot shows around here like Dixon, Waverly, Aaron, Yeah. And we would go out and put up the posters, and they'd bring the ring. We'd set up the ring and set up the chairs, and then, of course, take the chairs down. And, I was involved in all that. I was about 10 years old.
Wow. I didn't know all that. Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So did you ever go in the back?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I sewed pictures for the guys and take the ring jackets, from the ring to the back where the guys was.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow.
Yeah. So
No doubt.
I've been around the business since 1970. So that's 55 years I've been around the business in some form or another.
Wow. You trained under Saul. Saul Weingeroff. Was Cowboy Parker still helping run Saul's school when you was there?
No.
He had already left?
Saul was there, George Weingeroff was there, and then Herbie and Eric was there.
Okay. Because I know he was there right after. I know he was there after Fez shut down. He was still helping him. I remember seeing some stuff. He was still helping him with the training. I don't know if he was still there when you started or not. So what year did you start training with Saul?
Well, last part of 77.
Okay. He'd probably been gone by then. Yeah.
Yeah, the last part, around November, December of 77.
Okay. All right.
First match in October of 78. So.
That's cool. And I think we talked about this on the last episode, but who was that with, if you don't mind reminding us there? Do you remember?
Cadiana.
Yeah,
Mitsu Cadiana.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that.
Super nice.
That's cool.
So with how did you get booked with Nick Gulas?
Well, we was at the Saul's wrestling school, and Nick stopped by. It was on a Sunday afternoon, and Saul said, work a match with this guy. And his name was Sam Hardy. He worked some for Nick. It was a black guy, Sam Hardy.
Yep.
And we worked a little match, and Nick told me to come by his office. I think it was on the next Tuesday afternoon, and he wanted to talk to me.
Wow.
I guess he liked a little about what he seen, and I went over and talked to him, and I got booked. He started booking me.
Wow.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
When you started, did you think about using like any different name or anything, or?
Nick didn't want to.
Okay.
He said, what name you want to use? And Saul wanted me to go as Spike Hammer. He said, it's a good name for you, Tommy. Spike Hammer, I swear. And I said, Nick, if Saul thinks Spike Hammer, he says, no, I don't like that shit. I don't like that. Just come and get a real name. Tommy Heggie, that's got a ring to it. Let's just do that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Whatever you want. That's what he said. I was Spike Hammer. I don't like that shit. But Saul, when he told me about it, he was an artist, Saul was, and he drew out the name Spike, and where the eye was, he'd put like a nail. You know how you draw like a nail? That would be your eye. I never forget that. Spike, so you sign your name like this. But Nick said, I don't like that shit.
Cut that down quick. Yeah.
He did.
That's funny. Well, so talking about more Nick Gulas stuff, and I know we discussed, you and Randy sharing the Gym Pride name on the last episode. That was a bit of a conversation there. But did you actually ever work Randy for Nick?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How was that?
Several times. All great.
Yeah.
I had several TV matches with him.
Yeah.
I used to go over to his apartment and work out, and, he had his weights in his apartment and work out, and we become pretty good friends.
That's cool. Macho Man and Dante. That's a reality show I need.
I think Lanny come in from Portland or somewhere, and he was there, and he's wanting to show me how to throw a punch.
Oh, really?
He's been Lanny, yeah.
Man,
wow.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the best punches ever.
Yeah, great puncher. So, okay, did you the continuing to talk about Nick Gulas here, did you ever work on any of those cave shows that Nick ran in Dixon?
No, I never worked any of them.
Okay, did you ever hear about any of them?
I was one of the body slammers one time. Does that count for anything?
Sure it does.
Basketball.
The Nick Gulas body slammers. I love it. Yeah,
the basketball team. You remember that? We used to play basketball before the matches.
I've seen pictures. Yeah. Now that was mostly for George, probably, wasn't it? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Tommy, explain that cave to me, because I got the report from the athletic commissioner thing, and so how was that? It was down in a cave. I mean, how was that set up?
They do shows there, like music shows.
I have no idea. It was I don't know how they had it set up. I've never been there, Quentin. I can't really answer.
Okay.
I remember them doing it, but I never went out there.
Yeah, they play music down there too, bluegrass. It's a lot of acoustic type. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's the same place. And I always wanted to play music there, and I never knew that they wrestled in there, which is awesome sounding,
They sure did. I never went to the show, so I couldn't answer that question.
Okay,
yeah. It's dark as a cave in there. They needed lights.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right, I've always wanted to ask this question to somebody. Because I remember growing up, I barely remember the tail end of the Gulas stuff, but I always remember the Mexican Angel. I always thought he was very underrated, and it seems like he don't get the credit he deserves. Do you have any stories about working with the Mexican Angel?
Oh, he was a fantastic guy, Francisco Flores.
Yep.
I rode to several towns with him a lot of times. Me and him got along real well. Him and the Beast, the guy they called the Beast.
Yep.
I don't know if you remember him or not.
Was that Rick Link or no, a different guy?
No.
Okay.
He had a big old long black beard, long black hair. He's a real nice guy, but I can't remember what his real name was. But I rode with him and the Mexican Angels to several towns. And me and the Angels was our teams a lot of times. A lot of times we'd be in TV matches and I'd be his partner, I guess like Joe and Tojo or something. But one night me and Mexican Angel worked Gordy and Hayes in Huntsville. And I believe Tom, my senior, I think he was the referee for that. Back when they had that thing, and he had this stick with him, his little nightstick.
Yeah.
And we did the match, and they beat me and whatever, and we go to the back, and we were sitting there, and I got up to go across the hall. You go down out of the room and down the hall to see Gordy and Hayes. And then the Angel said, "Where you going?" I said, "Thank them guys for the match." He said, "No, you sit your ass down there. They beat you. They need to be coming to thank you."
Wow.
And it went along, and then Gordy and Hayes come over and thank both of us. He said, "I always know if they beat you, they come thank you. You don't go thank them for beating you."
Right.
And that was my story for the Mexican Angel. I never forgot that.
That's a great one.
You just never hear nobody, talk about him. And I, I'm a little bit I remember of him, but, he just seemed like he was a very underrated part of that Gulas organization. They don't get his credit.
He was there a lot of times. He was a Blue Scorpion at one time.
Okay.
I think 74, 75 back in there. He was one of the Blue Scorpions.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Very
and
cool.
you watch some of the, I think they got some tapes on YouTube of the Blue Scorpion. You did which one's him.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen the some of those that footage that's floating around of the house shows that. Okay, so in July of '79, you went and worked for Poffos in Kentucky, and also you worked for that all-star group in Knoxville that was running against Fuller. How did you get those bookings?
How did I get them? Well, I did the TV. Randy wanted me to go do the TV up there, and they did like a all-day TV. So me and Randy were, friends, and he asked me to go do the TV, and I said, sure. And then after we done all the TVs, I come back home, and it was like on a Monday or Tuesday, Ronnie Garvin called me and said, hey, would you like to start work for us? And I said, sure. He gave me a starting date.
So did you get heat with Nick for leaving to go work for that group?
Oh, yeah. I already had a little heat for Nick because me and Randy were friends, and Randy tried to kill George, and I don't know, it kind of bled off on me. Because me and Randy were friends, and I'm the one that drove Randy to the show that night when he threatened to kill George. So
my God,
bled away, yeah.
Well, I do notice when I was looking through my commission archives, I saw that you actually went back and worked one show in August for Nick, and it looked, and I couldn't find anything after that. So was that just a one-time comeback show for him, and then because everything else after that he was all with the Papos? So
yeah, I think it was. I ain't for sure about that, but I think it was.
Yeah, because I saw the advertising.
By then, so I probably was.
Yes, I went and looked in the archive. You know, they had your name on the little article. So I'm gonna look in the archives and look at the sheet of the license of they were on that show. And yeah, your actual name was on the show. So I was gonna make because I thought maybe they just just advertised him. He wasn't because he was still working up there. So you worked for the Papos for about 2 years. When you left, did you have any heat? I mean, what was the circumstances when you left the Papos for?
Oh, I just really wanted to come back home. Okay. I was living in Mason, Kentucky, and I just really wanted to come back home and work around here.
Yeah.
Can't blame you for that.
and work some shows for Jared, and just be around home.
Yeah. Yeah.
In '82, you started working for Dr. Master Curtis.
Yes.
How was it working for Curtis? Any stories about him?
The funniest thing is I think I worked Joey Rossi that night. I think he was in Gallup, and George Gulas and Tojo worked. Mike Porter and Jerry Ralph, they was dressed them up as the interns. They was, trying to fool people was thinking he was, the real interns. Because Mike Porter, he kind of looked like that one a little bit with his outfit.
Yeah.
After the match, they had a smile, and they was chasing the interns to the back, and George reached over, and he grabbed Curtis, and when he did, he pulled his wig off. He pulled his toupee off his head. Him running around that wheelchair, that was so funny. That's about my funny story with Curtis, but he was a good guy. He tried to pay you the best he could. It just wasn't a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people give Curtis the credit too, because he actually, he ran. He had a good little 3-year run where he ran a lot of Middle Tennessee towns.
Yes, he did. He ran a lot of shows.
Yeah, he sure did.
But he was a real nice man. I liked Curtis. He was all right.
So right after that too, Tommy, you went and you worked for George and Nick again. How was it going back to work for him?
Oh, he's always treated me fine. We had that little spell with the Randy thing, but other than that, I always got along really well with George and Nick.
Yeah, that's good.
There's no problems.
Cool.
And I enjoyed working for them. They done all right with me.
Yeah. So these next questions I have for you, Tommy, kind of partially are from a little bit brought up from the Jimmy Powell episode we had back a few months ago. But I know in '83, we talked about this on your episode with Arvil. '83, you worked for Georgia Championship. I guess, how was it working in those TBS studios, man? How cool was that?
Well, it was cool, but it was bad. I didn't like it. Gotcha. I only did a couple, and I didn't want to go back.
Okay.
Now, the main reason I didn't want to go back is them guys just don't. They can throw you on your head or anywhere else. They don't care nothing about you.
Wow.
Oh, that. Wow.
I worked with Road Warriors down there. I was never glad to tag my partner in my life.
Yeah.
Please don't tag me back in.
I can imagine.
Crap out of you.
83, yeah, they were green as all get out and stiff and wasn't even smart in 83. So yeah, I can imagine they were. I heard they were killing. They were killing people back in '83.
They didn't know it was a shoot.
They didn't even know they were killing people either. Probably they just were like,
they didn't know the shooter worked.
Nick sent me and Bill Smithson and somebody else down there. There was 3 or 4 of us. We didn't go back. I think I about done us in. I like, but maybe I don't know, maybe $50, and they just weren't worth taking a chance of getting hurt on. But man, like I said, they just didn't care.
Yeah. Well, that's funny. That's so funny. So in '84, obviously you got some busy years through like '82 to '85 and '86, or what am I saying? Up until when you retired, honestly, Tommy. What are we talking about here? But you also worked for Watts in '84. Now, did Mike Jackson get you that? He got you that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Jackson. That was just. I think I did 2 TV tapes. I worked Bobby Eaton and Dennis Condrey, and I think I worked Crusher Cruise Ship. I think.
Yep, Crusher Khrushchev. Yep.
Yeah, you picked the good ones.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's only 2 matches I had there.
So, okay, now this is kind of my question. Jimmy Powell said that he did not enjoy Mike's cut of the money. Did you have that problem with that too?
Well, the best I remember that the money was okay. I don't remember having no quarrel about it. So it must have been okay with me.
Might have been something between them two, and
it could have been, but I don't remember anything bad about Mike Jackson and the money or nothing.
Yeah,
he said he give me, and I agreed to go for that amount. I don't remember what it was, but I had no trouble.
Yeah, and I'm not even trying to spread anybody else's issues, but what I meant by that is I remember you talking about that, and that never came up. So I was just going to double back on that. But Mike has been cool. I've interviewed him before. Really up and up guy, Christian man. He seems that he's always, got his piece, ready.
Fantastic worker.
Fantastic worker. Still doing it too. Can you believe?
Yes. Can you believe that? He came to, I don't know, for a few shows with Nick when he run Chattanooga. He's a fantastic worker.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's still walking the roads.
Yeah, he is.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
I like Mike Jackson. He was a heck of a guy. Him, Tony LaDue, they're good people.
Good deal. Good.
All right, so in '85, you started working for the Jarretts in Memphis. Did Tom Ernesto Sr. bring you in?
No, I've been working some shows with Tojo and Tupelo, and then Tojo went back to Jarrett around in that time, and then Tojo told Jerry, hey, you need to hire Tommy, and Tojo called me, and I met him at the Cracker Barrel out here in Dixon, and Jerry Jarrett's one brought me in.
Okay.
So whose idea was it to change your? Okay, whose idea was it to change your name to Tommy Montana?
Jerry Jarrett.
Okay. He didn't like the Heggie name, or just?
I guess not. It's just when I got there, he said, we're going to call you Tommy Montana. I said, yes, sir.
Give me a job.
I never said nothing about nothing, whatever you want.
Right. Have job, will travel.
Exactly. Call me whatever. Just make sure I'm on the card.
That's it. Like I'm on the card. You pay me, I'll do whatever, and you can call me whatever. It don't matter to me.
Yeah, I was just wondering that because I know Tom Sr. was in the office at that time, so I didn't know if he would, if he brought you in, because I know Tom Jr. was there and Timmy was there, so I didn't know. I didn't know if he brought you. So okay, so it was actually Tojo
that brought me in, but Tom Sr. He had something to do with book. He'd give us our finishes.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So after you finished up with the Jarretts in '85, in September '85, you headed to Dallas, and you got a job in Dallas. How did you get that job?
Michael Hayes.
Nice.
Oh, really?
And when I was working with Jarrett, and he was on the show. He was in Memphis. I think him and somebody worked. Might have been Lawler and Hickerson. Michael Hayes.
That sounds about right. Yeah, because I remember actually I saw the other night they did watched the promo for Lawler and Hickerson against the Freebirds from '85.
Yeah. And he asked me would I like to go to Dallas, that he could get me in. He said that it'd be good for me to go down there and get some, more experience. And I said, sure, let's do it.
So, what's your situation? Are you married at that point, Tommy? Or
Yeah.
Okay. So you're kind of starting a life, right? And then you're also starting a career, So, okay, cool. I didn't know your situation at that time. Sorry, Quinton, keep going.
Oh, that's so that actually makes me wonder too when you bring that up, Jimmy. So did you move your family down there, or did they stay back in Middle Tennessee?
I went down first, and then she come down for a little while, and she was pregnant with little Tommy.
Yeah.
And she come back home, and then I went back, and then I finished up and come back home.
Okay. That's what I was going to say.
Before he's born.
Okay. So, that's one of that's just kind of like a three-parter, actually. Yeah, I was going to say you stayed for 5 months, and so after 5 months, you were ready to come back.
Well, they wanted to send me to Portland.
Oh.
Ken Mantell was the booker there, and he came into the office, and he said, why don't you go to Portland for me? And I couldn't go. Like I said, she's fixing to have little Tom, and I didn't want to wind up in the West Coast and her here in Nashville,
Oh, man, no, I'm thinking about a Dante run in Portland. I can't.
I know. I just thought about that. I was like, oh my gosh, a Portland one in '85. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, Tommy.
He wanted to send me bad. He wanted me to get a big black cowboy hat. He said, "You're a better heel. We need to turn you heel, get you a big black cowboy hat.
Yeah.
You're getting to go over there."
That's
awesome.
Man. I wanted to come. Yeah. I had to come home because she's fixing to have the baby, and that was just more important to me. Than,
of course.
Oh yeah,
course.
definitely.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh man.
Ken Mantell, well, he was a really nice guy. He was super good to me.
That's good. That's good.
Nothing but respect for Ken Mantell.
Wow.
And I had a lot of matches out there with some of the bigger name guys.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of that, how was it working, Gino?
Oh, Gino was easy, like a feather, no problem at all.
See, I hear some people I've heard through the years that said there was two different Ginos. You'd get one would want to work, then some nights he'd want to just be lazy on you. Did you ever have any? Okay.
No, I only worked him 2 or 3 times, but he always TV matches is what I had with him, and I never had no trouble. He would work, TV.
Yeah.
I never had no trouble. He never stiffed me. He was white as a feather.
All right, so I got another question about the Dallas. Well, and one more on the Dallas. Okay, how was it working Christmas Star Wars in the big arena? How was working that?
Oh gosh, the biggest crowd I've ever seen. It was awesome. And then the Cotton Bowl that they had there were like 30,000 people there. Well, I've made the big time now. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Well, I'm here now. And
look at me, Mom.
Because they flew you to the towns, and shoot, it was big time for me. I said, man, I have really hit it here.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah.
So, it's like a similar to the last question. In '86, there you're back working with Nick and George in the studio in Lebanon. How was that?
Oh, the best I can remember, it was just like it was in '84. It's just George and Nick back together again. I'll tell you a funny story, a Nick Gulas story. Me and him and Toto rode to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and had this big old Cadillac. I think it was a '74, big old car. Nick said, "Pull over here." I drove. He said, "Pull over here, son. I'll fill your car up." I said, "All right, sir." We started putting the gas in. He kept on and on and on. He said, "Damn, boy, how much this car takes? Cut that thing off." He done bought all the gas he wanted to buy.
He was going to fill it up just enough for his money would fill it up. He wasn't going to fill it all the way up. He was going to fill it up for him.
Yeah. I'll never forget that. He said, "Damn, boy, how much this car take?"
Hey, Tommy, going back to that, talking about that studio in Lebanon, because I lived in Mount Juliet, and we used to get that TV on 66 out of Lebanon, and I always begged my mom to take me up there to the tapings, and she would never do it, man. And then after I started driving, Nick he already moved out of there, and I remember driving by. I always drive by that little building. I was like, man, I wish I could have got to go watch wrestling in that building.
Yeah, they had a little like TV studios set up there. It was pretty nice. Yeah, it was pretty nice.
So in '89, IWA was running in Nashville, and they had a lot of local vets that worked there. Joey Rossi, George Weingeroff, Gypsy Joe. Did they ever reach out to you about working?
Yeah, man, I was doing something else at the time. I don't remember what I was doing, or maybe I just took some time off from wrestling. It was something I can't remember. But I mean, you got a lot of the guys went to work for them.
Yeah, they missed out if you weren't there. Then, Tommy, to me, it's.
I don't know why, but there must have been something going on with my family life. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Okay. Well, so we're keeping in '89 here, and so we're getting near the end of the summer of '89, and you worked a few weeks for the Jarretts in Nashville. You worked in tag matches against the Wild Side. Do you remember who your tag partner was?
I sure don't.
Yeah.
I ain't got a clue.
It's hard to tell.
I remember working them.
Right.
And I worked, some shows around here, Dixon and Aaron and Waverly, some local stuff for them.
Yeah. Did you work? And so you did work on more towns on the loop, is what you're saying then, and then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I worked some spot shows I know for them.
Okay.
All around Nashville, I worked some spot shows for them.
and I'm positive we asked you this, but was there any talks about working full time or a run with them during that time, or was it just solely for what it was for?
It's just what it was. Just I really wasn't interested in getting on the road with them full time.
Yeah, understand. Well, Tommy, since we've had you on a couple times before, some of these questions coming up we've probably answered, and we appreciate you answering them again because we'd like you to tell them to your good buddy Quinton here. So, Quinton, take it away.
All right, Tommy. You had been a mainstay babyface for over a decade in the Middle Tennessee area. Mm-hmm. You started doing the Dante gimmick. Why did you change up and start doing a different gimmick?
Well, the main reason is back when I was a kid, there was a team here called Mephisto and Dante, which was Bobby Hart and Frankie Kane and Saul managed. And, man, that was just my favorite team. I just loved them. And to my day, it's still, I guess, really my favorite team. They were so colorful, and they had the loaded boot and the fireball. And, and Saul, he was just in a class to himself. He was just fantastic.
Yeah, no
he's
doubt.
the best manager ever. And
he's one of.
I just wanted to do that gimmick. I'll be honest with you. I wanted to dress just like they did and do the gimmick.
Yeah, the next part was about the boot. So, you just that was part of their gimmick. So you wanted to do the loaded boot, too. So, when did you meet Cool Breeze Williams?
But, man, I don't know if you remember him or not. Lonnie Lane. You remember Lonnie Lane?
Oh, yeah. Carl Houston.
Yeah, Carl Houston. He lived in Dixon, too, and him and Cool Breeze were kind of buddies. And he brought him to my house one day. He said, man, I found you a partner. And when I looked at Cool Breeze, I thought, you are right. What a perfect partner. He had the look, he had it all, and he's a super nice man, and we just took off from there.
That's awesome.
I had an extra red outfit.
As soon as you saw him, you said, oh, there's my Mephisto then, right?
Yeah, it was kind of like love at first sight. Like, yes, sir, that's my man right there. He had the look, had the right size, and I had an extra red outfit, and he tried it on, and off we went.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Going back to the loaded boot real quick, I want to ask, because on the Wolfie show, we just recently they were doing this Portland Wrestling Expo up there, and we recently had Lynn Denton, the grappler, on, right? Mm-hmm. And, he had the loaded boot gimmick too, right? And so we we're talking to him, and he said, man, some of the craziest fan theories, were in this loaded boot. So I want to let you listen to this clip real quick. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
All right.
They come up with so many explanations, and one of the best ones I ever heard, this guy, this grappler, he's looking at me, he's all mad. I know what you got in that boot, you asshole. I said, yeah, do you really? He goes, yeah. He said, I know how that works. I figured it out. I said, how does it work? He goes, when you tap your toe, you got mercury in there, and it gets hot, and it all goes to one end. Like a thermometer. Some damn thinking, son.
He's tested out theories and
that on Mythbusters.
So anyway, did you have any fan theories as to what was in your boot?
The best one, they said I had razor blade in it. When I would tap the toe, the razor blade would come out and it would cut me.
Oh, God.
That's the best one I've ever heard. I heard that one. So one of the baby faces took my shoe off, right? How they do that. They took the boot off. And before he took it out there, I let him take it out the ringside, and I had a piece of like a razor blade you scrape the windows at the one edge, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The one edge is, I had a little crease in my sole, and I stuck a piece of that down in there, and then when I go see that man, I see, I told you, there's razor blades in there.
You made his day, Tommy.
Yeah, he was right.
I figured it out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, when the baby, I don't remember who it was, the baby face when I started to sign pictures or whatever, and he's supposed to wear the boot or take it to the ring with him or whatever, but I fixed that boot up where he could take it out there and show them fans there was a razor blade in it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's funny.
Yeah, you made his day. You know you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. I've never heard the Mercury one, though. That one's pretty out
I've never heard that either. I just cackled. That's funny.
That's that Portland stuff. They must be smoking something up there.
Yeah. Glenn Denton, the grappler. Now, you talking about somebody funny. That man's funny.
Oh, he is hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we had a good time. Me and Grappler kind of hung out together. And
I could see you two together.
And,
yeah.
Oh, it was awesome. He was a great guy. Great,
dude.
man.
Yeah. He seems like he's a great guy. I just talked to him on the phone.
Good sense of humor.
Yeah, you can tell he's hilarious, and he's there for the party. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
We used to go to that nightclub in Fort Worth after the show and called Manhattan's. And, you tip the bartender good, and boy, they drink all night long. Bringing them. But we had a good time. Me and him, Freebirds. We had a good time out there.
What was the Tommy Heggie drink of choice?
I was always just a beer man.
Just a beer man. Okay.
Just a beer man.
Sounds like me.
What's the deal where you shoot the shot of whiskey and then the shot
car bomb?
Drop it in your beer and you drink it. What's that called?
The car bomb?
Irish car bombs?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, yeah. Now we've done a few with them.
Kamikaze maybe or something? I don't know.
You have your mug of beer and they drop that shot of whiskey. You got a little glass of all down in your beer. I forget what they called it. But
Boilermaker.
Boilermaker. That's it.
That's it. That's the word.
Yeah.
I'm not a pro.
I'm not either. I've never had.
I know.
Boilermakers with the Freebirds, let me take you.
Oh, gosh.
Drink.
That's a podcast episode in itself, boys. So
I agree, them guys, man, they were something else to party with. Buddy Roberts,
I can't imagine.
Gordy.
Yeah.
And I got ready to leave. I said to Terry, I'm leaving. Why are you leaving? Man, you can't leave. I love you, man.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a few of them Boilermakers. I love you, man. You can't go. Because I know, back when the Gulas days, back in the 78.
Yeah. Yeah, you knew the real young Freebirds for sure. Yeah.
Join CHW Wrestling as we return to Ashland City on March 15th for our star-studded Hollywood Nights event. 6 huge matches, including a 3-way dance for the Ashland City Championship as Undeniable Danny White defends his title against the highly skilled Jason Xavier and the maniacal JC Crow. The biggest feud in CHW must finally come to a conclusion as the Tennessee Badass faces off against the Kentucky Iceman one last time in a Kentucky versus Tennessee loser leaves CHW flag match. Plus a massive 6-man tag team grudge match pitting Colton Cage and the CHW tag team champions, the Wild Wolves, against the Sons of Wrestling, Anthony Ray, Luis Antonio, and the CHW heavyweight champion, the all-nighter Austin Wright. Witness the aftermath of the Valentine's Massacre as Chris Green returns with a vengeance after blatantly screwing over his own brother to gain majority ownership of CHW. What will Chris have in store for Steven, Mike, and the rest of the Green family now that he is in control? Also in action, AJ Hall, Dakota Ramsey, and more, including the highly anticipated return of the Alpha Beast, Lex Bane. Plus, the iconic original Glow Girl, Hollywood, will be in attendance with your opportunity to meet her, get photos, and talk to her about her new book, Hooray for Hollywood. Join us for a night of action and excitement as the stars of CHW Pro Wrestling present Hollywood Nights, live from the Ashland City National Guard Armory, Saturday, March 15th. The show starts at 7, but the doors open at 6. Get there early for preferred seating. The last 2 events were standing room only. Delicious and affordable concessions available on site. A 3-hour thrill ride for only $12 ringside and $10 general admission. It's CHW Professional Wrestling. Brought to you by Fonda on 12th, Sir Pizza of Ashland City, Dapper Fades, Ashland City Euros, D&W Residential Cleaning, Mama D's, and the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling podcast.
Well, so this is kind of turning the page on a little bit of a chapter here, but when did you start booking in Columbia?
Around 90, 91, somewhere in there.
Okay. Yeah. We covered this a lot on the live podcast, but, far be it for me not to mention this tag team because they're one of my favorites, and especially y'all's feud together. But we covered it a little bit on the live show, and it says, but for about 2 years, the Devils and the Wild Boys were the hottest thing on the Tennessee Indies. What do you think? And you probably answered it a little bit on the live show, but what do you think made this combination so good?
Just the chemistry between the four.
Yeah.
And we went out there, we just made it believable. Then people believed we hated each other.
Right.
Just the chemistry of it, we just clicked.
Yeah.
And a lot of potatoes, too. I mean, we snuck them in on each other, and people just believed it. They just didn't get out of it because we just beat the crap out of each other.
Oh, man.
Chemistry that all four of us had.
Yeah. Well, that was you had chemistry in spades. Let's just say that. So that I do feel like that tag team combination and pairing. Honestly, I would say this, and you're more of a humble guy, not as humble as Arvil, but you're a humble guy too. I feel like probably on some nights y'all were the best wrestling match in the state of Tennessee going on. I would say maybe even in the Southeast on some of those nights. No matter what's going on down in Atlanta or Louisiana or wherever, I would guess that some of y'all are putting on some of the best matches in the whole daggone South.
Yes.
We don't get the credit for it, but we was hardcore before it was hardcore. You know what I mean? We started all that crap.
Yeah, you sure did.
All that hardcore stuff with the chairs and the boards and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Meat trays.
Meat trays.
Yeah, meat trays. Yeah.
The Darth Vader helmet that Steve Morton made for somebody. So, yeah. Man, y'all should go back and listen to that live podcast because that was not only a miracle for me and Jared, my son Cash, to help make that happen, but we got all them guys together and they didn't end up bleeding at the end. So, y'all go check that out.
Yeah.
So, in with your previous episode with Arvil, we talked about y'all going to USWA in '94, and you took the straps off of PG-13.
Yeah, we had a good.
Did they come to you all about coming in and more? And
I think Randy Hales asked Whoopi, did they know of anybody, and they said us, and so we went down there.
Yeah.
I think that's how that worked out.
Yeah.
Why did they?
It didn't work out. Could have worked out longer, but Kubri's job, we just couldn't keep going back because of his job. He changed his hours or something, and we couldn't keep going back.
Gotcha. Okay.
Why did they switch?
With Kubri's jobs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Why did they switch y'all's names up? Since you all were, pretty well known in Tennessee, at least anyway. So
yeah, they called him Dante and me Mephisto there. I don't know why, but I think just Dave Brown and just picked one.
Yeah, they just picked one.
They just picked one. Well, he looks like a Mephisto.
He looks like a Dante.
I guess so. I don't know why that was. I wondered the same thing. But
I was gonna guess. Yeah, I was gonna guess that it was a mistake. They just went with it. That's funny.
They did.
Yeah.
Where did y'all end up going after that?
Back to Columbia and the Indies around here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's back to the Indies thing, and I fit more in with his work, and it really fit in more with my work because it was hard working the job and doing all them shows for Jared.
Yeah. What did you feel like? And this is maybe something that we, could ask, but did you feel like you guys were ready for that? Though you all were more than ready for that. So really, what could it have been? Could there have been a possibility to where y'all would have said, okay, this opportunity is too good? Obviously, y'all have pensions and retirements and hopefully very happy retirement lives coming very soon for you. But do you feel like there was a time that could have been like, hey, look, maybe this could have happened. Maybe we leave our work and go on the road, or was the money just not enough for you to do that? Or
yeah, the money wasn't enough, and our gimmick was kind of getting outdated with the masses. It was kind of getting away from that kind of thing,
Gotcha.
Vince already started his thing, and
yeah,
it just was just better the way we did it. It was going back to our little indies and do our little mask gimmick. It was just better for us.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
You know, the mask things, it just about died out. It was just a thing of the past.
It's such a time of history. And I mean, if you were like thinking of a picture to explain pro wrestling, a masked wrestler is probably the best way to visually portray a pro wrestler, though, if you think about it, because it's so synonymous with wrestling.
Right.
You know, you could put a guy up there in tights and he might be a superhero, but in a mask, he's a wrestler, you know? So.
Yeah. And back in the day, that was a top thing. Nick had all these mask teams in here.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big thing when you put on the card, mask at stake, you know, people went to see, you know, who these guys was. I mean, it was just a big thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But it kind of just all faded away.
Yeah. That's a sad time, man. That's sad, honestly, if you think about it, because that's a part of wrestling. It's really such an important part of history in wrestling is the mask. But
I don't know if you remember years ago, there was a team called the Mighty Yankees.
Yes.
Frank Morrell and Eddie Sullivan.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to talk with Eddie Sullivan a lot at some of the reunions, and he said he beat a baby face without the mask, you know, in the first match or something. He put all that stuff on, put the mask on. He's a son of a gun, you know. The people hollered. The one that was just cheering him are now cussing him like he's a dog.
Hey, Tommy, didn't Charlie Fulton and Frank Morrell, didn't they do a version of it too?
Yep, I don't know what, 73, maybe 74 or something.
Yeah, somewhere there. I thought they did a version of it too. Yeah.
I mean, Dirty White Boy was a Mighty Yankee for a minute, wasn't he? Tony Anthony.
I've been a Mighty Yankee. Everybody was a Mighty Yankee. That thing was so over back in that day.
Yeah.
You know, he had all these different wrestlers working as the Yankees.
Right.
Like he'd have a set in Birmingham, that's on the Monday night. He'd have a set in Memphis, that was on the Monday night.
Yeah.
You know, that's how shrewd Nick was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'd shoot the angle with, say, Frank and Eddie on Memphis TV for Memphis Monday night, but Frank and Eddie might be the ones in Birmingham. You see what I mean?
It's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But the story, the Mighty Yankee story Eddie Sullivan told me, it started out with Ron and Don Wright.
Okay.
Mighty Yankee.
Yep. Okay.
Then Don didn't want to do it. He said, Frank Morrell, here's this damn yellow outfit. Put it on and go. So it was Frank and Ron. Well, Ron only wanted to work part of this territory. So that's where Eddie Sullivan come in. That's how Frank and Eddie got together.
Okay.
And Frank had a car wreck and got hurt his leg or broke his leg. That's where Pepe Lopez come in. So it was Pepe and Eddie.
Wow.
And Eddie left the territory. Then they put Tony Russo in that spot.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's the Mighty Yankee story straight from Eddie Sullivan.
That is cool. Very
and they
cool.
had number threes, and all kinds of. Jerry Barber was number 3. He lost his mask in Nashville one night. Remember Jerry Barber?
Oh, yeah.
Nick would just put anybody in as a number 3 because they had 3 of them at some times. Mighty Yankee 1, 2, and 3. And Jerry Barber was one time. And in Chattanooga, when Ron Wright worked that, he was number 3 down there. It was Frank, Eddie, and Ron Wright was the 3.
Wow.
But most of the time, it was Pepe as the part of it.
Oh, very cool. Man, we're learning more here. This is a whole other This Week in Wrestling segment.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, she's the Mighty Yankees now. I heard that straight from the horse's mouth because I often wondered how it all turned out, and that's how it was.
That is awesome. I love that history. I love that stuff.
All right, I got a question for you, Tom, and I've always wondered this. In late 93 in Shelbyville, Tennessee, they switched bookers because Chris Champion went to WCW. And actually, I was down there, and he was sending the cards to Glenn, and he wasn't even there. He was booking, but he wasn't even at the shows or nothing. And so then he finally, like late summer of 93, he switched the booker. Did Glenn ever ask you if you was interested in booking?
No.
Why not? Glenn Mullins, you're an idiot for not doing that.
No, wait. Most of the time when I was there, it was Gypsy doing the booking.
Yeah. Okay. That's who came in. He gave it to Gypsy after Chris.
That's the one I remember the most is Gypsy.
Yeah. So I was just wondering because I was like, 93, man, Columbia was just red hot, and I was thinking, why didn't he ask Tom? Because it's the same crew, and it's like, I'm just wondering if it was too wild for Glenn's taste, you know?
It might have been because he didn't like a lot of that crazy stuff.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. He really didn't.
Tommy is saying he's in crazy stuff. I mean, it's not right.
Well, my philosophy on all that booking was I want him to go home talking about something.
Exactly.
So I didn't hit him with everything but the sink. But back out one night, we brought a sink. He actually brought the damn kitchen sink tonight. Now, we did there. I want him to go home saying something.
Yeah.
That they haven't seen. I wish I'd pull out something they haven't seen. That's why I boil out the clothes hanger and all that stuff. They just didn't ever see it nowhere.
Yeah.
No doubt. No doubt.
And go back and you think about it, you know, I just barely remember the Gulas stuff, but it was always something wild going on, you know. You had to have it.
Exactly. That's what I learned a lot of my stuff from, was watching them old tapes that's out there and the finishes. You know, like if a heel screwed them, sometimes the baby faces come back on them, you know, and run them off.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
You got to keep the people wanting it. And, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a time to leave the face laying, but there's a time for the face to fight back, too.
There's a great story that Boris Zukov told me. He was telling me it was about Starland Arena in Roanoke or Salem or something. And the spoiler, Don Jardine, was working and working Wahoo McDaniel. Well, a fan got so mad with the spoiler that he threw a chair in the ring to help Wahoo. Okay. And Wahoo like thinks on his feet and tells Jardine to grab the chair and hit him with it. They about killed that fan because he screwed it up and caused Wahoo to lose. And that was the funniest story I've ever heard about a fan getting in a predicament and causing heat that he didn't need to. That was funny, man.
The spoiler story is back when my dad worked Texas, and I was with him, and the main event was Jose Lothario against the spoiler in a hair versus a mask match.
Yeah.
And the spoiler screws him over. And the people come alive, and they were storming the ring. They was fixing to have a riot. It was really getting out of hand, and they had to restart that match and unmask the spoiler. They weren't going to let him shave Jose's head. They would never get out of there alive. They switched it right there. But the finish was for Jose to lose.
Man.
They had to switch it. It was so bad.
Wow.
I remember that.
I love Don Jardine too, man. He was great. He was great. I didn't.
Oh, he was. He sure was.
Did you ever get to know him or meet him or?
Yeah, I just met him, you know, with my dad and stuff. But I never got to work him or nothing.
Yeah. That's cool. Sorry, Quinton. Keep going, brother.
Oh, sorry. No. Yeah, I love these stories. Break in any time on my question. I don't care. Keep them coming. All right, Tommy. So in late 95, you started booking in Lewisburg for Willie Paul Davis. And then a little later, he added on Petersburg. And then in 96, he added Columbia. And so those are 3 towns. At this time, Cool Breeze dropped the Mephisto and went back to his Cool Breeze gimmick, and Rick Reynolds took his place as Damien. Whose idea was for that to happen?
Well, Cool Breeze wanted to do his biker gimmick. You know, he'd done this gimmick with me, and he wanted to do that. He'd had all the stuff and never got to use it, and we done a thing for him to lose his mask and do that. And Damien, Rick said that he wanted to be my partner, and I said, "Sure, you'll be great." And we took off.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big old boy coming at you. I want to be your partner.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
he said, I'd like to take Cool Breeze spot and be your partner. I said, sure, that is a fantastic idea.
Yeah. I mean, it would be, you know, you're replacing him with a giant, you know, so it's awesome.
Yeah.
He's Rick.
He stepped right in, man. We just went on with it. Like, you know, no problem.
Yeah.
Just kept trucking there, and Cool Breeze started managing some guys. They called them the pigs. You remember them, Quinton?
Yeah, the pig boys.
Yeah. Fatback, Tenderloin, all them.
Yeah.
What was the name?
Oh, he had them all named Fatback, Tenderloin. I forget the other ones. I remember Fatback and Tenderloin. That's 3 or 4 of them. Hank Morton was one of them. And Cool Breeze had him and his wife into it. You remember that, Quinton, at Columbia one night? And Cool Breeze was interviewing Hank, and he got him to calling his wife some ugly names, and she come over there, and they got in a big old fight. A real sheep fight.
I don't think I was there that night on that one.
Yeah, at the Grand Slam, Cool Breeze instigated a real fight between Hank Morton and his wife.
That takes talent.
That's talent.
Right there on that damn microphone in front of everybody.
Oh, my God.
Cool Breeze was something else, boy. He was something else.
Yeah. We still got to get him on a podcast. So,
he come back to us and he just laughed. Boy, he thought that was so funny. Then
his laugh. He's like,
yeah, it's the most imitated. Yeah.
You look at him, you think you have a big burly laugh like a but it wasn't.
Rick Reynolds has a great impersonation of that, by the way. So.
Oh, he does. He sounds just like him.
We're in Columbia, and Breezy would always talk to you in the ring. Hey there, buddy. How you doing there? And he went, and he said, here's a little chop. And he liked to kill me, and I can take a chop.
Sure.
But he hits me, boom, and my back popped. And I said, oh, Breeze. I said, just leave me alone for a minute. He went, that was a good one, wasn't it, buddy? and I'm laying there just dying. Joe. I mean, he was tough.
Yeah, that's amazing. Let me ask you this. Now, since the whole deal happened there, you said that he lost Mephisto there and became Cool Breeze. Is that the reason you didn't make Rick Mephisto, or were you trying to just do something totally different with Rick? Or it wouldn't have worked to make him Mephisto?
Different name. Yeah,
okay.
Call him Mephisto.
Got it. Okay.
Then when Arvil come in later on, it was, quite a while later, and we just chose Mephisto for him.
That makes sense. I mean, it was some time between the two, so that
it was some time, and
yeah,
he Rick's so big, he just you ain't gonna say he's Mephisto, and some people
then have
say,
another.
Well, Mephisto. He might have had his tattoos removed. You know how fans think.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, that's a great point. Actually, that's a great point. Yeah. Okay. Well, so around the end of '96, you wrapped with the Wild Boys, and through this whole conversation, these last few minutes since I brought them up, you've been fighting them. So I appreciate you keeping that up. And and you started with the Mortons, right? So we covered this on the live podcast, but we know, but obviously to mention it, we have to. How did you know it would work with them like it did with the Wild Boys?
We just another one of the things we just clicked, and them the hometown boys there in Columbia, man, they really clicked.
Oh yeah.
That was the first time we brought the Saul out. The hand Saul out was with the Mortons, and when we did that, I just cemented our feud, from there and on for years. That one thing did that. Family tried to get in the ring, and his wife was trying to get in the ring, and people, man, they just believed it. It's going back to the believability. And we're just awful for bringing a saw and cutting his head with that saw. and all that through the Wild Boys. Now, we never did use no handsaw. That's something new. See what I'm saying?
Right.
I always want to do something they ain't never seen before.
That makes sense. Mm. No, that makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah, because you got to keep it fresh, and they have that local following, that hometown following that can really cause some amazing heat.
And we're like in Columbia now. They've seen us in the Wild Boys, and we hit each other with everything, including the scene. Never seen the saw. And then when we brought the saw out, they said, "What else would them damn devils do?" They're the meanest son of a guns there ever was. They're not a damn saw.
They've already got fired.
We hated each other. They just believed it. Believability. That was what did it for all of it.
Yeah.
Did you ever get in a position in one of these that you was legit scared that you wasn't gonna make it out of the building?
Oh yeah. Yeah. You ain't kidding. There's been several times down there. They followed you home in your car and tried to bring you off the road in Columbia. Yes, sir. Throwing stuff at us out the window. Yeah, several times.
Yeah.
several times.
Kayfabe was alive.
People don't understand, like when I broke in, I worked the other towns for about a year and a half before I got to come to Columbia full time. And I don't think people they'll think, Middle Tennessee, it's all the same. There was not another town like Columbia, Tennessee.
Yeah.
No, that was the happening town there for a while.
It was special. That town was special.
It was. I love it. It's a wrestling town. They loved it. That town loves wrestling.
Yeah. That's like the unofficial. I guess you could call it, because of what you all did there, the small town capital of wrestling in Tennessee. If you think about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it was. I really do. And but the building was great. That Grand Slam building was awesome back in the days.
Yeah,
it was just perfect, and we hit it every other week. They didn't get burned out on it, and they couldn't wait for 2 weeks to come back to see that. We let them hang it so much, they just couldn't wait.
Yeah. That's awesome. That is so cool. That is so cool. I wish I could get a time machine right now and go back and just hang out there.
Yeah. I wish I could go back to the days. That's the most fun I've ever had in wrestling business, Grand Slam.
Dude, that says so much. I'm sorry that says so much right there. All the things you've done, all the things and places and people and men you've wrestled, and that was your favorite. That says so much.
Yeah. The next one was Woodbine. You remember Woodbine, Quinton, when Terry Rice had it there?
Oh, yeah. I love that little building.
Oh, it was packed in there. Man, we outdrew Jarrett at one of them shows.
Yes. Yeah.
We outdrew Jarrett and Bill Dundee asked Ben Jordan, what are y'all doing over there?
We were a mile down the road. It was a mile down the road, and the night before they ran the night after us in their building that they've been in for 30-something years. We outdrew them, and that was crazy.
Wow.
We sure did. But we was giving them something different. It was rough stuff over there, too, just like Columbia.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And the Wild Boys, and you had Pete, the Scorpion, and Rick was there. They had a big thing, Rick. I think he was the medic then.
Yeah, he's a medic. Yep.
Yeah. Well, he had some good stuff. He had good crews there. George was there. George Weingeroff was there.
Yeah. Man, okay. I want to take the time machine to that one, too. So, Woodbine and Columbia. All right, cool.
Two hottest ones.
Yeah. Well, okay, there's one place I don't want to take a time machine back to, and that's this place I'm about to ask you about. So take yourself back to around this time, and how bad did the bathroom smell at Tony and TJ's show that they ran at the old Madison Square Shopping Center?
Oh, my God, I can still smell it today.
And because there was no electric or running water in there.
It was awful. Yeah, I still remember that to this day.
Oh, man.
I remember that to this day. You remember a guy they used to call Chicken Hat?
Yeah.
Of course. He's
everybody knows
many
Chicken
times.
Hat.
Yeah.
Right. I go to the ring every Friday night out there. He cussed me like a dog. He wanted to whoop me. He cussed me.
Yeah.
Well, one night, you didn't, like we said, didn't have no bathroom, so I went in the men's bathroom to pee.
Yeah.
And he was sitting on the damn toilet. I guess there's water out there, but he's sitting on the toilet. So I'm peeing in the urinal, and I reached down there, and the roll of paper, toilet paper was on the floor. I reached in and I grabbed that paper, and I stuck it in my pocket, and I walked out. I turned. He didn't have no door on the thing, and I looked at him, and I shook that toilet paper at him. He said, "You son of a gun, you!" Because, you bring that back. You bring that back. That's how I ain't bringing you nothing. And when I went out the door, I just set it down there by the door.
Right.
When I got to the ring that night, he was so mad. Oh, you stink, boy. You smell like, you know what? That meat could have killed me when I stole his toilet paper.
Oh, my God.
That's the best story ever.
I can't imagine. Oh, my
he
God.
was hot. He's sitting on that toilet. He couldn't move.
Dante, bring that back, you.
That's what he said. Bring that back here. You bring that back here, you son of a bitch. I never did that. Never, ever.
So, did anybody get heat for taking a dump in that toilet that shouldn't have? Or did everybody respect it that?
I don't see anybody could have took a dump in there.
Okay.
You got to stay in there. You stay in there that long.
Okay, gotcha. So it was
you could eat. I can still smell that to this day. It was
not you.
The first time I worked there, because see, it used to be an old workout gym, and I was like, man,
what's the name of it? World Class Gym was the name of it.
Yeah. And I remember I was like, man, I don't want to go out there because my first night there, and I asked, I said, is there a bathroom back here? Someone goes, yeah, it's right over there. And I opened that door, and I about threw up. And I was like, no. So I ran out of there. I was like, there's no way. So I walked. It was weird. This building, it was an old shopping center, but they had all the stores had a back hallway they used. And there wasn't. So I went down this big long hallway, and it kind of was L shaped, and I went over, and there's all these boxes. So I thought, I'm just going to start peeing over here. So I just started peeing there every week, and then I started noticing these boxes are different. I thought it was just, I didn't think anybody used it because they let us go back there. So I didn't think those stores were using it. So every week I was sitting there pissing on boxes. I was pissing on Rent-A-Center's boxes and didn't even realize. I didn't think, I was like, why would they be storing stuff back here when we're all back here have had access to it? Why would they be storing their stuff back here? So we kept going. I just remember, okay, these boxes are different. I've been paying on different boxes.
Oh my God. Quinton was spelling his names on the boxes.
That's a long name. Away. I've typed that name several times. That's not easy, man. Quinton Quarisma with a Q. He got every bit of it to the last dash on that last Q, didn't you, Quinton? You got every bit of it. So I've heard that the bathroom would knock a fly off a gut wagon. It smelled so bad. But anyway.
Yes.
I just wanted to use I just wanted a reason to use that phrase, guys. So I appreciate
it. So 2000 to 2004, you were a mainstay with Porter in Columbia, and Tom Ernesto Jr. became Mephisto. How did that come about? How did you get Tom in there?
I think he just wanted to be my partner, but Porter wanted to not work, and he just gave Ernesto at the butt outfit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's cool. Me and Junior go back so far. We was real good friends when I started with Nick. Well, that was a good time.
Yeah.
He wasn't up here that long around that. He didn't do it that long though, did he?
No, it wasn't long at all. And he went back home. I went back to Texas. So I forget.
Yeah.
I like teaming with him.
Yeah.
So it was fun to me to get the team with him.
Yeah, that is cool. That what a legacy in the wrestling business.
Oh gosh, yes.
It was also around this time that you slapped the fire out of Chris Gatlin's wife, too.
Yeah.
Did you see that video I made for his episode, Tommy? I don't know if you saw it or not, but anyway, I was like, maybe Tommy wouldn't want me to do this, but it's already out there. So.
That old devil. The devil wasn't a kid. I might have cared, but the devil didn't care.
Exactly. And when he said at the end of it that you were very apologetic, I said he must have took the mask off because Dante would have never apologized. Tommy Heggie's as nice as they come. He's a great guy. Dante, he'll cut you up, man.
That's right. He's nice, Dante.
He'll light you on fire. So,
hey, Tommy. Around this, after Tom Jr. left, a little after that, you and Timmy started teaming up. How was that teaming up with Timmy? Did you really enjoy it? It seemed like y'all gelled together pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, and I said, we go back to the Gulas days, and me and him used to double date sisters back when I very first met him. He's dating one girl, and I was dating the other.
Dude.
That was Sherry Lynn, and she used to wrestle. Remember her, Sherry Lynn? Her and Diddy Combs used to work all the time.
Yeah, I've heard that name.
I was dating Sherry, and Timmy was dating her sister, Lisa.
Oh, okay.
Me and Timmy go way back on all kinds of ways.
And Macho Man was dating Debbie. Yeah.
Yeah, he started dating her.
Yeah.
He sure did.
What a crew, man.
Hey, Tommy, one more part about this real fast before we move on to something else. When y'all started teaming, I noticed that Timmy started using the saw. instead of you? Did you just get tired of doing let Timmy do it, or
I just handed it to him. I said, "Here you go, brother. Here's your new gimmick."
Yeah. Anthony Wayne is still mad at you about that, Tommy. Never mind. Sorry.
All right. So around this time, little Tommy started managing you. Who come up with the Hannibal Lecter name and gimmick?
Billy Ray Hickerson.
Okay.
Oh, really?
That's cool.
Really? He sure did.
And is it Lictum?
Like the Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
With Hannibal Lecter on whatever it was called, that movie.
Okay.
Kind of blended them two things together.
Yeah.
Because, little Tommy had the meat apron on and all that stuff.
Yeah. It was a great look, man.
Hitchhiker, with from the Chainsaw Massacre, but we give him the name off of Hannibal Lecter. He called him Hannibal instead of Hannibal.
Yeah. Okay. And the Lictum, that's the last name. Like he licked them, right?
He started managing them guys. What was their names, Quinton? One of them's married to Athena now. What was their name?
Oh, the Booty Call. Booty Call.
Booty Call, yeah. He started managing them, and they switched it to Lictum.
Okay.
Okay.
When did he switch over to the suit, to the full suit? When did he do that?
Oh, we come back later on. I don't remember exactly. It's just one of the things you get tired of doing the same thing. Like Kubrick's got tired of doing that. He got tired of wearing that. He wanted to dress up.
Okay. Yeah. I thought it was cool. The suit. I thought that look. This was awesome with the suit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it was a great look. Yeah. Plus, I'm a mark for managers, So
yeah, he had that red and black pinstripe suit and red shoes.
Yeah,
it's like he hit the lottery or something. He moved up in the world.
He sold his soul, man. Come on.
That's it.
Oh man. Oh, Tom. Yeah, that's funny too, because we would work together on shows, and randomly, a lot of managers, when I would come into a place, not that I was threatening in any way by my talent or my abilities or anything, me being there, some managers did not really like the other manager being there. Like, they like a one heel manager per show. And I always knew, man, if I was going to work on any show with the Devils, they already had, their boy, man, Tommy's already there. So it's all good. But, I remember saying something to somebody. I was like, some managers, and I cannot remember who said it back. And I said, some managers don't like it. They get a little uptight when another manager's there. And somebody was like, well, his spot's secure. He's all good. I was like, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. What am I worried about offending somebody that's got a more secure spot than me? So yeah, Tommy, this has been awesome, man. I really, Quinton gave us, I told Quinton, I said, look, man, this is your show. We've had Tommy on twice. I would love to have Tommy on 300 more times. Not that I'm making you do that, Tommy, but you know what I mean.
I understand.
But Quinton, I was like, so Quinton, this is your baby. Go ham, man. And he's been waiting to do this. So he sent, amazing, some of the best questions ever. Couldn't ask for better questions. He sent them all to me, and then we put them together, and I was so worried that this wasn't going to fit in the time slot. I was just worried that we were going to be like, okay, well, this is the end of part one. But we did it. We made it. We're at the end. So Tommy, first off, thank you so much.
Thank you guys. I enjoyed it.
You're one of our favorite people. You're one of our favorite wrestlers. You're one of our favorite heels. Honestly, you're just one of our favorite people, and we just greatly appreciate you being a part of us and telling your story on here. We always kick it to the Sheik for the final question. So Sheik, take it on down to Chinatown.
All right, Tommy. So I think you've answered this question before, so we're going to change it up again like we did the Mount Rushmore question. What would be your favorite match, not as Dante? Favorite match you ever had that you weren't Dante?
My favorite match.
Not the Road Warriors in Georgia.
Yeah, Road Warriors in Georgia.
No. I'd have to say probably any of them with Lynn Denton, the grappler. Me and him got along really well, and he really let me do things,
Yeah.
He really put me over.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I had the best matches with him.
Yeah.
That's cool.
How long has it been since you've talked to Lenny?
Oh, I talked to him on Facebook, I don't know, a couple years ago.
Oh, okay, cool. I was going to say,
I talked to him.
Lenny is great.
Lenny Denton was awesome, and all of them I had with Tojo was awesome. I cherish every one with Tojo Yamamoto.
Yeah,
he was such a terrific guy.
I got to go find some Tommy Heggie, Lynn Denton matches, y'all.
Yeah,
yeah. Quinton, you want to say thank you to the good man, brother?
Oh, well, do you got about 30 more minutes?
Sure.
You know, there's 3 guys in my career that hold special place in my heart. One's Chris Champion for training me. 2 was Pete Cannon for getting me booked in other places. And 3 was Tommy Heggie.
Well, thank you, Quinton. I appreciate that, buddy.
You have did so much for me. I don't think you realize it. You brought me to Columbia, and that was such a learning lesson for me, because you go to Columbia and work different people everywhere, and work in a place where the dressing rooms didn't connect. Yeah. And if you didn't cut it in Columbia, you didn't come back. Right. And and I had to learn.
You did a great job down there. You did a great job.
I appreciate it. You put me in that spot and helped me. But one thing I've always really appreciated, I don't know if I ever told you this part, when we talked about when in 96, when you took over in Lewisburg, Petersburg, and Columbia, you brought me back in, and my gimmick, you can only go to a certain level on the car with my gimmick every week. I mean, because it was a gimmick. But you took me out of that gimmick and put me with Chris Kern, Hot Rod Biggs, the Bruise Brothers. And it changed me. It got me into a different persona. It moved me up in the card, and advanced me and helped. I got, I think, it just something about you. I don't know what you saw in me, putting me with them, and that was what you did. I think that was another. I mean, the stuff you did before, but this was another level that is like, wow, he's putting me with these guys, and now I'm up at the top of the card. And I appreciate that. You put me with them, and my character changed. I didn't. And I was, and I didn't think at the time that I could, carry another gimmick, because I was so used to doing my other gimmick, and I guess you saw that, hey, he could do it, and you put me with him, and those 6 months, man, was just awesome being with those guys, and I appreciate you doing that for me.
Oh, you're more welcome. Y'all was great together too.
Oh, it was fun.
Good together.
Yeah.
Yep.
They had a great crew. They were very good together. Yeah.
Yes, it was. That was a real good team.
Tommy, so next time we'll talk about something else next time when you come on, buddy. But seriously, no, I mean it from the bottom of our heart. As far as guests that we always appreciate having on and learning something from, you're one of the tops, brother. So thank you for everything immensely. Yeah, and we'll have it out for you soon, and we greatly appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, man. Thank you, guys. I enjoyed
Appreciate you, Tommy. Appreciate you, Tommy.
All right. Thanks, Quinton. Take care, buddy.
See you, Tommy. Talk to you later, brother.
All righty.
All right. That was the one and only Dante Tommy Heggie. We'll be right back to wrap things up on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
That's right, it's the talk of Middle Tennessee, the channel you love to hate and the channel you hate to love. It's Brian Turner from Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. And if you're looking for matches from Wolfie D to Jerry Lawler to Dusty Rhodes and the team that put a pimp before your eyes and a goatee between your thighs, Booty Call and Athena, go to lostwrestling.com. See, I made it easy for you. Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. Booyah.
Hey everybody, Gene Jackson here, inviting you to check out the Retro Wrestling Review, where each week I'm joined by some great co-hosts who help me review classic episodes of USWA Championship Wrestling, and right now we are doing week-by-week reviews of 1993. But we don't just do reviews, sometimes we get a chance to interview some of the people who were there and lived it, plus do watch-alongs. It's a lot of fun, so check out new episodes that drop every Wednesday at WrestleCopia.com, and to find links to everything associated to the podcast, you can go to uswapodcast.com.
Hi, this is Mike Needham, host of the Reckless Abandon Podcast with Mike Needham. We invite you to jump on your favorite podcast platform and search for the Reckless Abandon Podcast and give us a listen. I'm sometimes joined by a part-time podcaster, part-time co-host, and full-time wife, Tiffany Nicole. We talk wrestling, we talk pop culture, we talk local events, local happenings in West Tennessee, and a ton of other stuff. But be sure to check out the Reckless Abandon Podcast. Find us on Facebook. Also, look up the Microgroup Podcasting family on Facebook and see some of our other podcasts we have out there. Until next time, make good choices and always remember, no dollar, no dice.
Oh, Sheik and Quinton, one more excellent episode. My goodness, Tommy Heggie, awesome. I mean, so we've had Tommy Heggie on 2 times, and now this being his 3rd time. And honestly, I feel like that was his best appearance. Not that Arvil wasn't awesome with him, not that, you know, the other guys at the live podcast for the Right Way reunion last year, but honestly, just to get to hear his whole story fleshed out. And I know that's not his whole story, but you know, a good portion of his story fleshed out and get to hear it all in detail chronologically, man. That guy really did some great stuff, and man, I love that guy. He's so awesome.
Oh yeah,
he's one of the best, man. It is such a pleasure to talk to, and just a real genuine guy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I want to say this from Jared and I. Quinton, kudos to you on this one, man. I want to let the listeners know we usually don't make this all the way known, but where we had, you know, Tommy on a couple times before, you know, I kind of said, hey, Quinton, you want him, brother. Let's do it. You got the questions. We'll make it happen. And I want to say kudos, brother. 98% of the questions were Quinton's. And I'm not counting like the Mount Rushmore and the Fave match, but you came through in the clutch and you did some awesome questions there. So kudos to you on that. Good job, brother.
I appreciate it. It was easy because, I mean,
right.
You know, Tommy's the man. I love Tommy Heggie. He has helped me. He's helped so many guys through the years, and he deserves everything. You know, people to hear about him.
Definitely. And just because we've had him on 3 doesn't mean that's his last time. I'm just saying, you know, we Quinton, I told you to unload the clip and you sure did, brother. So good job, man. So the next thing I want to talk about, obviously, we've had our co-sponsorship with CHW there in Ashland City. They've got a cool thing coming up this Saturday, March 19th. It's Hollywood Nights, and it's going to have all kinds of their normal stars, you know, Stephen Green, you know, Austin Wright, their champion, Chris Green, Michael Dunn, Poncho Arp, so many guys, you know, Anthony Ray, Luis Antonio, and Lex Bain. But the big deal that night is they've got a special guest general manager in the original Glow Girl Hollywood, and this is their Hollywood Nights in Ashland City, Saturday, March 15th, the National Guard Armory, 1935 Tennessee 12, Ashland City. Ringside seating 12, general admission 10, bell time 7 p.m. Y'all get them tickets quick. The ringside go fast like we've talked about before. This is going to be another excellent show in CHW's run, man. So y'all go check it out. Be there, be square. If you miss it, it's on you. We told you about it, okay? Once again, if you want to follow all things GMBMPW or anything to do with any of the podcasts that I do, check us out at GMBMPW on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube, y'all. Thank you so much for all that follow and subscribe and share. It means the world to us. Just keep doing that. Seriously, y'all don't know how important that is. The next episode, guys, it's fun to say this because it's true, but we have Wildcat Wendell Cooley next up, y'all. So Quinton, I hope you got some territory questions for the man, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Most definitely.
Yeah, this will be cool, man. You know, Shane Morton helped us with this one. He sent me the message. He was like, hey, man, who you got coming up? And I was like, this guy, would you like Wendell Cooley? I said, yes, I would like Wendell Cooley. So, yeah, y'all be looking for that next episode. Guys, other than that, I'm all out, man. I don't have anything else. Y'all have anything?
I don't think so, man. Great episode, though.
Good deal.
No, I'm good. I'm good to go up there.
All right, brothers. Well, that was a good show. Thanks again, Tommy, so much. The excellent, legendary Tommy Heggie. Thank you so much for telling your story. So, for our guest, Tommy Heggie, this has been the Plastic Sheik, Jared Street, Quinton Quarisma, the Territory Wrestling Guru, and myself. And we are Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Don't forget.
The most important thing to me right now is I want to get back at the New York Doll and Terry Adonis for doing to me what they've done. You two will just listen to me. We'll go to the top. We'll be the world champions, and we'll take it from there. That's all I ask. Please help me get back at them.
I'll say this. If Tommy's willing, I'm willing. I think with your guidance that we can win the championship.
We can do it. I know we can.
Because that's where it's all at.
We can do it.
That's proteins and winning the belt, and that's where the money's at, right?
Right.
And I think with your guidance that we can do it.
Right.
And I'm willing to accept your offer. Okay?
Tommy, it's fine.
But let me tell you one thing. You double-cross me, or even think about it.
Herb, I'm not going to double-cross you. Believe me.
So help me God. Before I'm through beating you, you're going to wish thousands of times you was back where you was at 1 minute before you was born. Now, Herb, you understand what I'm saying?
I understand, Herb.
Don't you double-cross me.
I understand. Tommy.
Don't double-cross me. I mean that.
I promise, Herb. I promise.
I put my faith and trust in you.
There's no double-cross going on. I swear there's none.
If you do,
Tommy.
you're going to answer to me personally.
Tommy, tell him.
Will you shut up a minute?
Yeah.
If you do, you're going to answer to me personally.
All right.
Tommy won't be involved.
You got to listen to me, though.
And you.
Will you listen to me?
Sure I will. But when you double-cross me or even think about double-crossing me, you're going to pay. To me.
That's fine.
Personally.
That's
not
fine.
Tommy. To me.
That's fine. Now, would you tell your dad
Tommy?
that... Okay, well, it seems like we've got one goal in common here, and that's to get back at this pretty boy in the doll. And I'll tell you what, we'll listen to you, but if you make one effort to double-cross us, and I'm saying one effort, I'm going to get right in your face, then you're going to have to answer to somebody. You got that? You got it, Tommy.
It's going to be to me.
You got it.
It's not going to be to Tommy.
We got Richard Lee managing the Herbert and Tom Heggie, the father and son tag team, and I'm glad what you said. I think the man is with his word. I think what's happened here today, I think you can take his word. But like you said, if he double-crossed you,
he's going to pay.
He got something coming back.
And I promise you one thing. New York Doll and Terry Adonis will pay for this right here. As long as you don't double-cross us. But if you double-cross us, that's nothing what you're going to get.
Okay, Herb.
Herbert and Tom Heggie has a new manager, Richard Lee. Sir Richard Lee.
So, with a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment in my life.
We'll see you later.
This has been a James Rock Street production.